All right, Chasers, back here for Howl-O-Scream 20 with Matthew, New Mexico.
Nice throwback.
I had to. Matthew Edwards. Now, okay, give me your title because I always get everybody's titles wrong.
Entertainment Manager of Events.
Entertainment Manager of Events. Now, we got a big question to ask you kind of when it comes to building the houses, especially like something like Demented Dimensions, you know, where there's a lot of detail to it. What goes into that, like from the planning stages?
So, I mean, I think for us, really, first, it's what is the overall flow? Like, how does every room and every area feed into each other? And then you got to figure out, well, where can you put your scares? How do you have actor back paths so they can get to and from where they need to go to? How do you accommodate the emergency exits and things like that? So you really have to factor in all the different kind of paths that could possibly come up over the course of the event. And then you really just look at how do you maximize the space that you have available to you. There's a lot of kickbacks in pretty much all haunted houses that you go through, and that's a really easy way to maximize your space and to get the most for your buck out of the locations that you're in. But then once you know what your floor plan is, you also got to know what does it look like and how does it all relate to each other as you go through so that you have a cohesive story or a cohesive sensation once you've gotten to the end of the attraction. So there's a lot of, you know, it's the shopping, it's the wouldn't this be interesting, it's the wallpaper textures, it's the pieces and parts that look like they could be picked up and handled, but you would never actually do that when you walk through a house. It's how the characters themselves, what are they going to look like and how are they going to live in the world of the room that they're in as well. So a lot of times you're putting pictures up on a wall, you're putting up drawings or designs, you're just kind of like seeing what looks like it goes together, you're moving pieces of parts around and kind of visualizing that way, and then you start building. You know, you start finding the pieces, you buy what you need, you fabricate what you need, and you start putting together. When you see it in reality, sometimes, you know, it's all right on the money and it works as is. Other times you maybe shift a little bit here or there, or you realize that, you know, this might work better if we did this to it, or if we removed it and added this element instead. So it's essentially the hands-on. I mean, you can picture it and have it in your mind and the whole production team's head all day long, but once you start physically getting the pieces and you can touch them and manipulate them, then you can really start to see where all the really good elements are and what you can really do to maximize what you have.
See, yeah, I work in a haunt too, and you guys run into the same thing, and it happens in theater period because this is theater.
Yeah.
You know, and so do you guys run into the problems that especially with something new, where maybe after the first week you're like, okay, this isn't working?
I think you find that in anything that you do that's new is that, you know, there's some things that maybe work very well on paper, but the application requires a little bit more finesse or an adjustment to it. And we're constantly learning and just seeing, you know, what scares really do get the most benefit, what scares can we adjust or tweak. And we do that, you know, to make sure that we are maximizing the potential that the houses and the territories have. Okay,
so we got 3 new ones this year. We have the Vault 20, which is a throwback to all of them.
Pretty much.
The last 19 years. We have Demented Dimensions, which is a gorgeous walkthrough, by the way. Beautiful, beautiful house. And then Dystopia, which is a post-apocalyptic. I said it right. I was saying it wrong all week. I just couldn't get a pop up. Now I can't do it again. But all right. So yeah. So what brought? Now we know Demented Dimensions came from Tampa.
Yep.
And what about Dystopia? And well, I mean Vault 20. We know we're.
Yeah.
That's just a
Vault
throwback.
20 was so, our nostalgia house. Dystopia was we wanted to try to go into a different direction that we haven't gone before. 20th anniversary. Our motto this year is the new era of terror. We wanted to kind of start to explore themes and concepts that we hadn't touched on in the park before. So instead of going with a monster gimmick or element of some sort, we thought, what if we took something that is maybe in a little bit of a different vein, that has a little a different sensation to it, but has a pretty big interest in popular culture, and that's the post-apocalyptic idea. Rather than go like post-apocalyptic zombie, which is a fairly big thing, and it's wonderful, but we wanted to make sure that we weren't just trying to rehash something that was already out there. So for us it was, what if we created a world where it was humans who were the characters that you interact with, but they are humans that are in a most extreme state of living and what has happened to them in their worlds and in their life. And so we created this dystopian idea where it's humans who, after some post-apocalyptic type event, have kind of created their own little societies, and there are guests walking through or other members of this dystopian world who want to join this particular utopian society, or what they perceive to be a utopian society. And as you go through, you discover that this particular group of people are maybe not the ones that you want to be joining up with, because they're doing some pretty wild, terrifying things as you go through and see how they live and how they are utilizing the new members who join their society and all that. It's more horror-based, it's less monster-based, but it's a chance for us to really explore kind of like future technology ideas and surprise special effect elements that we haven't really played with in other houses before. So it's fun to bring the technology into the houses and also explore a concept that's not just strictly based upon monsters and werewolves, vampires, those kinds of sock characters.
All right. Well, you know us, and we don't. We always go off the cuff a little bit. So we gotta ask you a couple questions.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's Howl-O-Scream. So, what is your favorite scary movie?
Oh, my favorite scary movie. That's a great question. Honestly, I like Bram Stoker's Dracula, like Gary Oldman. Like I love watching that.
Gary
it's
Oldman
great.
in anything is
well, true. But there's a lot. The cinematography in that. There's so many really great. Just the way they compose the shots. There's so much rich texture and elements that you just want to touch and you want to be in there and like see that environment. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Okay, now what scares you?
Ooh. Honestly, yeah, you're not going to find me going into some place that I don't know about. Like, people, want to go out and drive in the middle of the night and go find some abandoned, structure and go, explore it. Yeah, you're not going to find me doing that. I know where my home is. I know where my work is. I know where my grocery store is at, and that's pretty much all I need. I'm not going to be going out exploring.
So just unknown places. Oh,
not
wow,
interested in the
right.
unknown. No, thank you.
Awesome. All right, well, Matthew, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk to you guys next time. Be excellent to each other. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.